Now the 419 with Gretchen DeBacker, Matt Killam, and Kevin Mullen.
Welcome into the 419. It's a Wellness Wednesday edition. I'm Kevin Mullen.
We are not well. Gretchen DeBacker.
Matt Killam.
The 419, powered by WGTE, presented by Retro Wealth Management. You guys, are you mad that I said stand by?
No, I'm thrilled.
Okay. That's the thing that you say right before you start.
Yeah.
That's not the only weird phrase that we've heard this morning.
Right, yes.
Gretchen, you said, you used the phrase cash on the barrel head.
Yes, and you two both immediately started making old-timey jokes, which is appropriate because you never heard that.
So when you heard that growing up.
Yeah. I don't even know if I heard it growing up. I don't know where I heard it. I'm a very intelligent person, as you know.
When you were purchasing
I used to be a barmaid
cattle.
in a saloon.
Okay.
But it's like an old Western term, meaning like pay cash.
If you owned an old Western saloon, what would it be called?
Gertz.
That's such a fast response. Yeah.
I've never thought of it before.
Yeah, you have. Yeah, Gertz. And I've got the floor plan here if you don't mind.
Here's the logo.
I have never been more afraid of you than I am right now.
Yeah. Well, I wish I could say that.
With how quickly you answered that.
Yeah, Gertz. Yeah.
That's also the name
Best
of the
sarsaparilla
restaurant.
in the state.
All right, hang on a second. So explain to me cash on the barrel head. Where does that come from?
Well, you were talking about selling something, and I said, "Have you been paid yet?" I said, "Do you have I said to you, "Do you have cash on the barrelhead?" Which means to me, basically, you've got money in hand? Have you been paid?
Okay.
But then we did a quick Google search, as you do, and it's from like an old Western time. They would use old barrels as tables, and if you were paying someone cash for something, you're not getting credit extended, and you put money down on the barrelhead to pay for something. That's what it comes from.
All right.
Does your family use this expression?
I don't know. Maybe my dad used to say it.
Sure.
We did have barrels as tables a lot.
Maybe
that's what it was from.
I'm interested in what that decor was.
No, we
at
didn't. I'm
The
just
general
kidding.
counsel for Dana was not a well-paid position.
No,
Yeah,
right.
that's
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah.
Did your family have a saying, or did you ever find out that you've been misusing a saying?
So we talked about this on the podcast early on that.
Before I was on.
Right. No. I'd heard a phrase, and I still don't know what the actual phrase is. I believe the phrase is "kiss the frog," but I had been saying "lick the frog," which is similar but very different.
Who would say kiss the frog to
So
you?
kiss the frog is like
Why did they hurt you?
By PETA.
the whole point of that phrase is like, when you wake up, like do the hardest thing you're going to have to do that day first.
And we started this show.
That's right. That's right. So we
We've
wake
been
up.
licking frogs from here to Fort Wayne.
We got that frog from Lisa Savecki. We can bring it over here.
So the good news. Good point.
Yeah.
So the good news is we've got a couple of experts on the show
Yes,
with us
that's
today
right.
to help us get ourselves right.
They got their work cut out for them.
That's right.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about building resilience before crisis.
That's right.
Which is the right time to build resilience when you're trying to do that in the midst of crisis. A little
Not
more
ideal.
chaotic. No. So, proper preparation.
A lot of barrel heads there.
A lot
Is
of.
that right?
I don't think you
Yeah.
used that
Yeah.
right.
Close.
All right, so our good friend Alyssa Lark from WorkSpring is going to be joining us here. It's Wellness Wednesday, presented by WorkSpring. And we'll take a break. When we come back, Alyssa Lark will join us on the 419.
Support for the 419 comes from Retro Wealth Management, where we understand that your financial path is personal. Advisory services are offered through Capital Investment Advisory Services, LLC. Securities offered through Capital Investment Group, Inc. Member FINRA and SIPC. More information at retroadvisors.com.
The 419, powered by WGTE, is made possible in part by supporters like you. Thank you.
Introducing The Local Thread, a community news series uniting voices and storytellers from across the region. In partnership with La Prensa, the Toledo Free Press, the Sojourner's Truth, Toledo Public Schools, and Rethinking Jails and Justice. The Local Thread brings you stories and conversations that connect our community. Hear it weeknights at 7 on FM 91 with early access on podcast platforms each morning. The Local Thread, only on WGTE.
Welcome back into the 419. It's a Wellness Wednesday edition powered by WorkSpring. We're joined now by wellness consultant Alyssa Lark. Welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me
So
back.
you are our first 3-timer.
Oh, wow.
We've got to get you a jacket or something.
I think
No,
that's how
that's
they
not
do
till
it.
5-timer.
Where you can't have the jacket. This just in.
We ordered it, but you don't get it till 2 more appearances.
And then you just hang out at the bar and wait for other people to
Right.
also join the
So
5-timers club.
good. Yeah, it's a big deal.
All right, so you told me I was wrong as soon as you walked up onto the set. So I said I believe the phrase is kiss the frog, but I've been saying lick the frog.
That's something totally different.
And you're now telling me that I'm wrong on both fronts.
Both of those. Yeah, it's eat the frog. Eat the frog.
Now, is that
I
like
mean,
a nice
But it means the
saute?
same thing that you
Let's-
said it meant. So
Yeah, so let's be clear. Eat the frog is way worse than both of those
Yes.
others.
Not for the frog. Not for the frog. And you're an expert in amphibians, right?
I wouldn't say so.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I can tell by your
Frogs
face.
are cool though.
Yeah, all right.
Frogs are cool.
Let's
Yeah.
take a good stance there.
Have you ever cooked a frog?
I have not, but I have eaten frog legs before.
As have I, and I think they're delicious.
Really?
Listen, it's been weeks since last we saw you. We know cooking is a relative passion for you. What have you cooked in the Lark kitchen, the confectionery mecca from Northwest Ohio, your words? What have we cooked since last I've seen you?
I think one of my favorite things I've done is like a red curry Thai chicken soup, and it was
No,
really
yummy.
good.
Yeah. That little jar of the red.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it had like rice noodles, some
Yeah.
lime, lemongrass,
Doing it. All
cilantro.
right. Yeah.
Really good.
Big check.
Highly recommend.
Good for you.
I noticed we don't have any samples, but that's okay.
Next
Next
time.
time.
Alyssa, tell us a little bit, for people that maybe have not seen you when your 2 prior appearances, a little bit about WorkSpring and what role you play there.
Yeah, so I am a wellness consultant for WorkSpring, and kind of what we do as a whole is we provide different HR services to businesses across Ohio and then into Southeast Michigan as well. So organizations can be members of ours, and we can help them with all their HR needs, whether that's doing handbooks, hiring, training, different seminar learning that we can offer. And then specifically on the wellness side, we can help companies with implementing their wellness programming for their employees.
What kinds of things are included typically in a wellness program for a company?
So one thing that we do is we have like a wellness portal that folks can access online, and they can engage in different activities and resources on there. So there's lots of free education for them, and then we also help them like run fun challenges for their employees, as well as kind of take stock of what type of things might people be struggling with their health and wellness, and how we can help them improve those areas, provide education and things of that nature.
Has WorkSpring ever considered making a frog their mascot?
Not a frog. I don't think frogs would maybe match our colors right now.
Probably not. Probably not. Something to think about.
We do say in our office a lot, we talk about eating the frog. We talk about getting the difficult thing over with.
The Metro Parks mascot is a frog.
Oh, that's
Right.
right.
That's right. We ate him immediately. So that was,
So he's no longer with us.
yeah, regrettably.
Yeah, yeah.
Alyssa, in the WorkSpring membership sort of list, I mean, is there a range of like, if you've got, 5 employees to 100 employees, like you're a prime kind of partner with WorkSpring,
yeah.
or is there a budget range? What does that look like?
We service organizations that have a wide range of employees. So it could be 5 employees, it could be 2, it could be 500 employees that we're helping you with, and we, adjust things that are needed based on that.
Do you have trouble not or giving wellness advice to your family or friends and things like that? Friday, you're like,
Oh yeah, I do.
hey, Uncle. Yes, sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Talk to me about sort of the work-life balance of that.
Yeah, sometimes my parents, they try like the different trendy diets
Sure.
and things like that, which I think is totally fine as long as you're aware of things, and maybe certain stuff you're talking to your doctor about. So I'm always the voice of reason, and sometimes they roll their eyes at me a little bit, but I try to let people.
Soft offering.
Yeah.
But I think that's a good segue into some of the challenges of this. There are, to some degree, it could be considered sort of a box checked for both employer and employee. Based on the aged people that host the show, you're a relative young person. What does the voice of wellness need to sound like to somebody who is getting the information? Like, how do you register that? How do you think about delivering information that can be either both personal or technically proficient in a way that people might not find approachable?
Yeah, I think we try to give the approach of, meeting people where they're at.
Sure.
And, seeing, what somebody is interested in, what they're really looking for, and focusing on what's right for them and what's the best fit for them. Not necessarily telling everybody you need to do X, Y, Z
Sure.
exactly, but finding, what fits for each person and how that might be different.
So Gretchen suffers from seasonal crabbiness, but it's all 4 seasons. So how
It just ramps up throughout the year as we approach Christmas.
I think it has something to do with pollen. If pollen was like ever present, can you help Kevin and I just some tips? I wouldn't say it's a crisis, but I wouldn't say it isn't. How can we deal with her?
She doesn't know because there's nothing to deal with. The topic that we're talking about today is building resilience before a crisis. What kind of crises are we talking about? Is this personal? Is it work related? Is it a combination? Which things would you be focused on at WorkSpring?
Kind of everything. Kind of a holistic view of, we're not just employees at work, we're whole people the whole time. So
That's well said.
Yeah, we try to help people with all the different areas that we can. So
And so what are some things that you guys work on specifically as it relates to crisis? How can someone be prepared for something like that?
Yeah, of course we help people with, getting that foundation of taking care of just your physical health and making sure you're eating well, getting sleep. Sleep is kind of like a really important thing that I always like to harp on for people.
How many hours of sleep do you get a night?
I try to get at least 7.
God bless you.
I know it's hard sometimes, depending on what you've got going on, but 7 to 9 hours is like that sweet spot. I don't think I've hardly ever gotten 9, but...
Now, is 11 a problem?
Yeah. What is sort of a koala model? I like to sleep anywhere from 18 to 20 hours a day. And when I get up, I like to eat only eucalyptus, which becomes a hallucinogen.
It's weird. Yeah.
But it is interesting to me that as sophisticated of beings as we are, there's also a simplistic approach to it. It turns out you need the proper amount of fuel in terms of food. You need rest, right? And some modicum of exercise, right? How much of your emphasis do you find sort of going back to a basics approach?
I think that's kind of the baseline to start with, because if you're not taking care of those things, it's going to be harder for you to take on those next levels of your wellness, right? So if you're not sleeping well, it's going to be hard for you to think about, how am I handling my relationships? It's going to be more difficult. So I think that baseline is really good to start with. And then, of course, the other things on top of that are very important as well.
How can you tell, if at the risk of asking you a personal question, how can you tell when one of your things are slipping? What are some warning signs that something is amok?
I think a big thing, especially when it comes to resilience, is if you find yourself, withdrawing potentially from your relationships or typical things that you enjoy or are engaged in, and then feeling overwhelmed in general, a lot of anxious feelings can definitely be a sign that you might be struggling in those ways.
We're talking with Alyssa Lark with WorkSpring on a Wellness Wednesday, presented by WorkSpring here on the 419. You mentioned, we're whole people the whole day, right? So it's not just at work, it's at home. Do you approach these things differently in the office than you would so you say, hey, I'm dealing with a crisis in my personal life. The way I assess that, the way I approach that is that different than the way I would approach and assess a crisis in the workplace?
I think maybe in some ways, depending, like there might be things that you don't necessarily share to people in the workplace, but you can still be there for people and be understanding and, look for that support when you need it, regardless.
Kevin, is that why you're self-employed? Because you don't want to talk about your IBS?
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. I've been eating too many frogs.
Yeah,
That'll
that's
happen.
right.
Yeah.
Or what's the right amount of frogs to eat?
I think as many as you need to.
One a day.
I'll tell you what, it's hard to pin you down. You're good at this.
Let's take an example. Let's take a specific example and talk about things that you could do. Let's say the crisis is that you get in a car accident and no one's hurt, but your car's out for a week. And okay, so then that's going to affect everything. It's going to affect getting the kids to school. It's going to affect you maybe potentially getting to work. It's going to cost you money. You got to deal with the insurance company, like all of these things. So what are things that someone could do proactively in advance of something like that to not make it, to sort of get through that personal crisis?
I think a big thing is to focus on your relationships and kind of your community, making sure you have people you can go to and talk to about those struggles you might be having, and also get practical help. Sometimes as well, you might need that. So a support system is really great to build, and that can help you because, we can have personal resilience, but you need to have people to lean on. Yeah.
That's, I think is germane to this conversation, but you can't always control all of the communities that you're around, right? Are there warning signs, or are there some things that if you're in crisis or even struggling a bit, people to avoid, relationships to avoid, and again, to some degree you can if it's a work team or something like that, but are there ways to mitigate that, or say, I'm struggling via something personally, or I should just sort of plug in a little bit? What are some of the warning signs to people that might be taking more than they're giving from you?
I think, if you're feeling like some of the people around you are maybe more negative, and some people just are, and that's okay, but you might have to adjust, your expectations with people, what you feel comfortable sharing with them, and, look for people who are empathetic and who maybe help you feel less anxious rather than more anxious when you're interacting with them.
Gretchen, I hope you listened to that.
I did. If you're the employer and not the employee, and someone approaches you with something they're going through, or some what they perceive to be a crisis, what should within reason, the employer's response be to that? What does WorkSpring do to train or educate employers about how they should respond?
Yeah, definitely, trying to be that listening ear as appropriate. And we do offer different trainings for leaders who are looking for more guidance there on how to navigate those situations. I know I've talked about it before, but we have that mental health first aid training,
Yes.
Which is a great opportunity for people to kind of get some background on how to help somebody who might be struggling and make sure you're addressing it appropriately.
Give us just a quick version of what that is again, in case people missed it. Mental health first aid is what?
Yeah, so it is a skill building training that helps people to recognize, understand, and respond to mental health challenges or substance use challenges.
Okay.
One of the things I know we've talked about is WorkSpring's got a new office downtown. You guys are in the Innovation Center. What is that space done for you guys, and sort of talk to me about what it's like having that as a home base?
Oh, it's awesome. It's a beautiful space, a beautiful office. Our team did a really great job furnishing it. I think it looks really nice and new, and it's a really bright space with lots of light coming in. I think it makes for a really good environment for us, and we love being, kind of central downtown. In Toledo as
There's
well.
almost nothing that replaces natural light, as obvious as that statement may sound. It makes a big difference.
I remember the old United Way building?
Yeah.
So like the original, like tall, brown, whatever building.
Yeah.
The way it was built, the architects designed it for natural light to hit everybody the whole time. And then as it grew and like over the years, they added walls inside. And so then it just became this dark, just miserable space to work.
Sure.
And they ultimately had to tear it down because they were like, oh, well, you know, we need separation, which took out the natural light and destroyed it all. That's a fun fact. What percentage of your paycheck are you spending at the coffee shop?
You know, when I go in there, I do try to get something from there because they're so sweet and
Yes,
nice
they
over there.
are.
And I love to support them, and great coffee.
They're
Yeah.
great.
Alyssa, thank you so much for joining us. When we come back, we've got Jessica to talk a little bit more about the topic of building resilience before crisis hits. What's the number one question we should ask her when we have her on?
I think ask her about the Resilience and Thriving course that she teaches.
I love it. All right, will do. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll continue this Wellness Wednesday on the 419.
To me, community means connecting to others.
I'm Donnie Miller, and welcome to The Point.
We're a community committed to education. Discover new ideas, dive into exciting subjects, and engage with the world around you.
I would send them personally a T-shirt. Crime doesn't pay in the Old West End. Pass it on. That's how we cleaned up the neighborhood.
Vision loss for people is not the end. It's
a story. It's the next chapter.
WGTE Public Media invites you to Get Out and Play Day.
Monday through Friday, it's the 419 powered by WGTE. With Matt Killam, Gretchen DeBacker, I'm Kevin Mullen. What can people expect on the show?
It's going to be an hour, a reminder of why this is a great place to live, work, and play.
WGTE, where you come to watch, listen, and learn.
Welcome back into the 419. It's a Wellness Wednesday presented by WorkSpring. We're joined now by Jessica Pinecombe. Jessica, you are a wellness consultant with WorkSpring.
That's right.
But you're out of the Cleveland area.
Correct. Yep.
Who is less well, Clevelanders or Toledoans?
Oh.
Say it. You're in this.
It's
Probably the same.
Good.
Your diplomacy.
We're equally as unwell.
Playing the role of Switzerland today.
That's right. Yeah.
I thought you were going to ask amongst the three of us.
Yeah.
Which is
I would
She's
never
just
do that.
met, so she doesn't.
It's all a loss there. A lot of frog eating.
I'll let you know after.
Tell us about your role specifically. What do you do at WorkSpring?
So I'm a wellness consultant. So that means I work with our clients to plan, develop, and facilitate wellness program initiatives for their employees.
We ask almost everybody that's come on this, Jessica, tell us how you got from little Jessica to
Much time do you have?
yeah, sure, as long as you need.
No,
I mean, this became a part of your life. Was there an aha moment? But what brought you to this career path?
So I went to Kent State University.
Okay.
So did I.
And I didn't know what I wanted to do.
Gretchen
so I
only went
kinda,
there for 10 minutes before she failed out.
Yeah.
So it's not really.
2
Gretchen's
years,
sure-
technically.
She wasn't even unsure of the mascot.
And also, for folks that are fans of the podcast, we'll also remember that Gretchen forgot
Yeah.
Yeah.
that
I
that's
did.
where she went to school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That shows you how much time she spent in class.
Can't read, can't write, can't state.
Oh, heard that before.
Right,
Yep.
right. Okay.
So I went there not sure what I wanted to do.
Sure.
As many people do, I think. Or I started off with early childhood education and then quickly changed that. Had several other majors, ended up with a nutrition class. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, I kind of like this. And I like going to this class.
Sure.
So I was like, let's see what that brings me. And I graduated with a nutrition and dietetics degree.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That is, go ahead.
What was the plan? Like, what were the
Didn't
thoughts
have a plan.
on? Okay.
Still graduated with no plan.
Sure.
I was like, what can I do with this? Because I was not a registered dietitian. So I just had the degree. I was like, do I take that step and be a registered dietitian, or let's see what is available without going that far? I already went long enough in school. I was like, I have to do more.
Sure.
I probably should have, but it ended me up here, so it worked out. I had several jobs trying to figure out what I liked. I think Jenny Craig was one of them.
Yeah.
Dietitian or a dietary aide in like a hospital. So
Okay.
many different little areas.
That's a tough gig.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was tough. And then I ended up with health coaching, and I really enjoyed the health
Sure.
coaching. So I did that for a while.
What do you like about that portion of it? That's obviously an extension of where you landed. What's the feel good? What gets you out of bed every morning?
Well, when people, because you're health coaching, you're helping people set goals and realize how they, can be healthier. And when people actually meet their goals, that was very rewarding.
Absolutely.
But it was also very challenging too, because you had a lot of people who just
Didn't.
Did you have to go to their house and like
all
beat them
telephonic?
Up? Oh, okay.
So that was hard too about it, because it was all never face to face, never saw anybody. It was like 24 phone calls in a day talking about goals, and I felt like I was having the same conversation over and over again a lot. But it was rewarding when people did meet their goals. So
And how long have you been at WorkSpring?
5 years in June.
How about that?
And so how often are you up here in Toledo? Are you guys back and forth a lot?
Monthly we try to get together, a full team meeting, and we do a full day of training or other things, and meet with our wellness team too that day. So we do get to be face to face a lot, and so that's nice. But
Are you a Browns fan? Yeah.
Yes.
That does not really.
I have to be.
She didn't want to admit it. You could tell.
That does not lend itself to wellness.
My husband wrote them off, but
Yes, certainly. Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
So maybe you could work with the Browns on this one, building resilience before crisis.
They need their nature class.
That's right. In 1964, since the election, what talk to us about the definition of resilience, the definition of crisis, and then let's work our way into sort of solutions. Talk to us about that.
So being resilient is more than just coping with your stress. And not that there's nothing wrong with coping, like you need to cope, but coping is just getting by. When you're resilient, you are taking your coping to the next level. So you're coming out of that situation or that stress even better. So you're learning and adapting to it. And so we always want to be.
Is there a way to have zero stress?
No, I know. There's always that everyone wants to be stress-free, and it's impossible. Stress it's a part of life. It's a part of, a motivator that gets you through your day. It helps you to meet deadlines. We need stress.
What's a sign that it's less, it's tipped away from motivation into problematic? What is something that you would feel or experience, or someone maybe at work would be like, geez, what's going on with that person?
Yeah, if you're not meeting your deadlines, if you're, reacting not so nicely to situations, withdrawing, not interested in what you're doing anymore, that could be signs of, it's too much.
Jessica, this might be an unfair question, so bear with me here. Is happiness an equally legitimate goal? I mean, it seems like is that a good pursuit? Is content a good pursuit? What is the goal that people should think to achieve? And that could be this could really display my ignorance in a very broad question that's unfair, so bear with me. But what are we looking for here?
I mean, obviously everyone strives to be happy, and happy equals healthy too. So they kind of go hand in hand. But yeah, I mean, it's okay to be content, like with your job, you can be content.
Sure.
But ideally, we would all like to be happy.
So happiness is a legitimate goal.
Oh.
Okay.
Why not?
What's the kind of, how do you identify this between like, hey, this is a problem, this is a hurdle or a hiccup, or now we're in full-blown crisis?
That's a really great question.
And what are some examples of the crises you're talking about?
Well, it can range. It depends on the company. Some crisis is.
What if you're a three-person show and one of the people potentially sitting to my left is a nightmare?
I don't know about that.
Totally hypothetical.
Well, I know about it.
The fact that both of us sit to your left, I'm a little offended.
Yeah.
But you mean immediately to your left?
Nope.
Okay.
I mean left and left. Please go ahead. I'm sorry, Jeff.
No, it's okay. Some companies have to deal with, layoffs, or and that's a crisis, budgeting issues, that kind of thing, behind the scenes that maybe not employees are very aware of, that kind of situation going on. Obviously, a global pandemic is a crisis that everyone had to figure out how to be resilient and get through that.
Didn't. Go ahead.
No, so then, and that's really it. So.
Yeah. So I guess to the crisis from an employer standpoint, what is a fair boundary? What is a fair ask of an employer to help manage their staff through their own personal crisis?
I think it's super important for leadership to be communicating regularly to employees, open communication, create psychological safety in an environment where employees are feeling safe enough to speak up when they're feeling overwhelmed or when they're, feeling stressed, and not be afraid of, that coming back on them in some way. So.
Sure.
Can you tell us a little bit about the class that the course that is taught, and how often it's offered and that kind of stuff?
So I teach the Resilience and Thriving workshop. It is, it's actually Resilience and Thriving: The Secret Power of Stress. So it's like helping. It's like a 90-minute to an hour or 2-hour course. Participants, it's a little interactive, so it's more activity-based, like more conversational with the participants. We talk about coping mechanisms, how we're coping. Is it healthy versus unhealthy? How can we cope better and make it more of the healthy, so that we could potentially move forward into being resilient.
Are there generational differences in coping mechanisms?
Great question.
Yeah, for sure.
So what is like something a 50-year-old would do and something like a brand new 21-year-old employee do that's different that you're seeing?
You hear the resentment in her tone.
Gretchen wishes she was 50.
I do.
It depends on the person too, though. So
That's what's in her, Gretchen.
I think doom scrolling is like a coping mechanism for a lot of people that are maybe younger and have that phone attached to them 24/7.
Sure. That's a great part here. That's a coping mechanism. You mentioned that. Is that true? Our phones, is the availability of information, whether it is accurate or not, how is that playing into the current ether? And
it's a good thing to be connected, but too much connection, like that doom scrolling, that can really take over. And like before you know it, you're scrolling for 20 minutes gone out of your day.
That seems short.
I was just saying 20 minutes.
I was being nice. Some people like half an hour to an hour just scrolling, and then you're neglecting other things you could be doing. And and you feel bad because you sat there and you doom scrolled for so long.
And then you can't believe that it's been that long. You're like, wait a minute, I was going to stop this 10 minutes ago. And then the things that you should be doing, it can be problematic.
We're talking with Jessica Pinecombe from WorkSpring here on a Wellness Wednesday on the 419. You outlined a ton of different possibilities of crisis. And so when I think about like preparation for that, is the right thing to do for you to kind of look at, both in your personal life and professional life, like here's all the possible crises that I could possibly have. Let me prepare for them. Or are there some core elements of resiliency that apply to almost every crisis?
Yeah, I think it's hard. It's a good question. I think it's hard you might get overwhelmed thinking about all the things that could happen. But at the same time, we do want to be prepared for when something happens. So just working on yourself, working on your stress management techniques, your coping strategies. Are you living a healthy lifestyle? When you're living a healthier lifestyle, you're able to see when you're not coping very well, and may need to make some changes there. So I think
What are some really simple things, maybe 3 things that someone can do to better their stress management techniques?
Good.
First of all, be able to identify when you're starting to feel stressed, and identify your coping mechanisms that you normally go to. Like, are you an overeater? Are you someone who needs to get you just back off of it, like you avoid it? So identify how you're coping. And I'm sorry, what was the question?
What are the tips to manage it? Yeah.
Okay.
If you're able to identify it, what are some easy things that our audience can do to begin to manage it better?
Exercise, get outside, enjoy nature, do something that you enjoy.
Matt's leaning his logo right to your face.
Yeah,
He's like,
tell me more. You met my cousin Jessica, right? I love that idea, or conceptually, obviously. It is also, and I think you made mention of it, it is also possible that you've created coping mechanisms that are not good. How do you bounce these things off? How do you sort of vet them? You mentioned eating potentially, withdrawing, avoidance. How do you know what's a good way to bounce off the health of whatever your coping mechanisms are? Because they can't all be good for you.
No, they're not. When you're overeating, when you're
Like depressed? Yeah, sure.
You're withdrawn when you're
Avoidance, things of that variety. There are things that you do maybe naturally. You fall into a sort of a bad habit. Like, what's the first step to sort of validate that? Okay, I'm doing it again. I'm avoiding this. How do you get on the right path to good coping mechanisms?
I think start small.
Yes.
So set a little goal for yourself.
That's great
like
advice.
I'm going to do this today.
Yes.
I think prioritize what's important to you. Practice gratitude. All that.
Good suggestion.
Journaling, those kinds of things.
Do you journal?
I don't.
Yes, that's okay.
I wanted to, but it's not for everybody.
Yeah, sure. You're busy doing scrolling.
Right.
I have 2 kids. I got
How old are the
things
kids?
to do.
How old are
My
your
kids are 5 and 7.
Yeah.
You have a lot to do.
That's a lot.
We're busy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
there's
just
no
coping,
time.
period.
Oh yeah.
I get it.
Oh.
What's Matt and Gretchen, for you guys, kind of when you realize, like, not necessarily on the verge of crisis, but like I'm overworked, overstressed. What's that kind of first step thing that you do to try to foster wellness for yourself?
I sort of just clean the area. So like I have to get my desk all cleaned off. I have to like make the list. I have to clean the house. Because when you realize you're overwrought or overstressed, there's just stuff everywhere.
Yeah.
And so cleaning, the clean environment and the tidied space, I think then you can start to.
Yeah, I certainly can. My knee-jerk reaction was identifying things that I do that are not causative. But I think I will rely on like a core group of trusted people to like level set, and then I sort of work my way out from them. To be perfectly honest, so I lean on my people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jessica, how about you? What's kind of your go-to? Here's the thing I do to.
Lock your children in the basement.
I do group fitness classes.
Yeah.
And that's like my getaway.
Yeah, you have to have it, right?
So that's my me time.
Yeah, I get
awesome.
it.
If somebody.
What about you, Kevin? You didn't answer that.
Yeah, intentionally. I was learning from you guys.
Yeah.
I'm like, I could use one of these.
I saw you feverishly
He's
writing
never
things.
stressed.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah, give me some good ideas. No, I will take, when it's really bad, like I've got a meeting or something like that, I'll take it outside.
Okay.
And so it's like, all right, this is
To fight the
overwhelming.
person.
I just need to, like, this phone call, I'm going to walk while I'm doing it. I'm going to, like, move the Zoom call, take the laptop outside somewhere. That's kind of helpful for me. It's
that's
near
interesting.
impossible to do in the winter. And so, because I'm a wuss and I'm not going outside in the cold.
100%.
But yeah, so I mean, I think that's where, like, for me, but the cleaning, tidying, like that's I noticed that my desk, the piles that are,
100%.
I'm an organized chaos person, so like I know where that paper is in what pile, but eventually there's too many piles.
I can tell there's a real warning sign for me that things are amok is if I have a bunch of documents on my desktop.
That are all open.
Well, not if they're not even open, they're out.
Oh,
Meaning if they are not in some folder somewhere, then I know that things are starting to really tilt quickly.
Jessica, if people want more information on WorkSpring and more information on the classes that you talked about, where would they find it?
They can go to www.workspring.org. Phone numbers on there and everything. You can contact us, and we'd love to help you.
More importantly, what are these kids' names?
Oh, my daughter's Kinsley, and my son is Declan.
I love it.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Awesome. Jessica, thank you so much for joining us.
Of course.
When we come back, we continue our partnership with the YWCA, celebrating the incredible women that are being honored with the 2026 Milestone Award. We'll be right back on the 419.
Support for the 419 comes from Witro Wealth Management, where we understand that your financial path is personal. Advisory services are offered through Capital Investment Advisory Services, LLC. Securities offered through Capital Investment Group, Inc. Member FINRA and SIPC. More information at WitroAdvisors.com.
Destination Toledo. Whether you're a local or a visitor, Destination Toledo invites you to explore the region and be a tourist in Toledo. Find events, dining, and things to do at visittoledo.org.
WorkSpring. HR issues and employee well-being go hand in hand. WorkSpring supports employers through compliance, training, and wellness because healthy workplaces don't happen by accidents. Learn more at workspring.org.
Toledo Refining Company, a subsidiary of PDF Energy. Toledo Refining Company is a supplier of fuels that keep our region moving. Located in Oregon, Ohio, the refinery processes crude oil into gasoline, diesel, jet fuel, and other petroleum products.
And TARTA, celebrating its 55th year of connecting Northwest Ohioans to their community. More information at tarta.com.
Welcome back into the 419. It's a Wellness Wednesday. So why not talk about great people doing great things in our community? We're joined by Jennifer McCary. You are one of the 2026 YWCA Milestones Award honorees. Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you
What
for
is
being
your
with us.
category of
The arts.
the arts?
Martial arts.
I do that as well.
Yeah.
Do you actually do martial arts as well? Or
I
you
am a
just,
black belt.
Yeah. I didn't just say that.
didn't know
She's a
that.
friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't always mean
Which
everything.
which martial art?
Taekwondo.
Oh my gosh! So you could beat us all up.
Well, no, I knew that before the Taekwondo.
Yeah. Now, what do you use your martial arts skills for good or evil?
I've not used them in a long time.
Okay.
My children are the way
But that
I-
doesn't answer the question, Dr.
I
McCary.
always use them for good.
Okay,
I always
good.
use them for
Okay,
good.
just
right.
want to make sure.
Only good.
You can't talk about it because of all the crime fighting you do. We'll get it. We get it.
Your title is Chief Culture and Brand Experience Director? Officer at the Toledo Museum of Art. A wonderful, certainly amazing institution here in the city of Toledo. How long have you been with the Art Museum?
3 years.
And you are a native Toledoan. You are native. Where are you from?
I'm from Cleveland Heights, Ohio.
Yeah.
So
all
a couple
right.
of hours away. My family's still there, most of them.
How close are you with the Kelsey brothers?
Actually, they went to my high school.
Yeah. There you go.
How did you find your way to Toledo?
I went to Bowling Green State University for undergrad. I used to visit Toledo and BG with friends and then decided to come here for school. Left for a number of years, went back to Cleveland and then moved to Baltimore, Maryland. Me and my husband had our children there. A job opportunity came about. They brought me back to the area about 8 years ago now.
How many kids?
Two.
How
Two
about
girls.
that? Two
Yeah.
girls?
Yeah.
Yeah. That I did not know.
Yes.
What are their names?
Madison and Malia, 9 and 14.
And what color belt do they have in Taekwondo?
Madison, they're both in karate. Madison is a black belt, Malia is a red belt.
See?
14 to cute age, huh?
It is.
That's right.
Cute. Is that the
For
word
those
we're
of you who are
using?
listening, there's a single tear coming out of the doctor's eye right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about what your role specifically is. It's an excellent title, but what is your day-to-day? What are your job responsibilities?
My day-to-day changes. So I oversee 9 departments at the museum, and they vary. And so some days I'm deep in the marketing communication side. Some days it's the accessibility side. A lot of times it's the people and talent side, which is what we call human resources. I spend a lot of time with our education team, our Glass Studios team. My day rotates between my departments. But I also help others across the organization. My job is to really help people have difficult conversations or to have them for them. My job is to help resolve things. My job is to help with professional development and leadership development. So I spend a lot of time thinking about how people are experiencing our culture, how they're growing in their own roles, the things that they might want to accomplish, need to accomplish related to our mission. It varies. I do some of everything with every department. I'm really fortunate to be able to do that.
How would you describe what the goal culture is for the Toledo Museum of Art employees?
Yeah, so we say, culture is what we do, say, think, believe collectively. That's what shapes our culture. But the hope is that everybody experiences belonging, that they're able to grow and thrive in their roles. That they come, and I know that a lot of people are there because they're deeply committed to the mission of the museum, but that they're able to see how their work actually impacts the community. And so we do a lot of things to ensure that people just feel connected to one another and connected to the community we serve.
What personality, this is going to make you uncomfortable because I know how humble you are, but that's not appropriate because we're here to celebrate an award you're getting. What makes you good at this?
That is a hard question.
Yeah.
People know that she could fight them.
That's right, because we don't. I'll
Actually,
break this
now
desk.
Let's have this conversation,
It's been a long time since people have known that.
No, I mean,
There's two ways for us to address the way you've been acting in the workplace.
I choked
We
you
can
out.
talk about it.
Or we have a conversation.
That's right. What are the ends in your consciousness?
I actually know 7 different spots on your body. I can hit you and you will die immediately. Or you could
gonna
just fill
sleep?
out. Yeah.
Or you're gonna.
Yeah, I guess we get it. Okay.
Let's keep saying different
We're
martial
going to
arts
filibuster the
terms.
rest of it. Notice they're not award winners. And again, I'm going to pin you down to this. And I know it's a little bit uncomfortable, but you can talk about the characteristics of others if you'd like. But again, you and I are not meeting for the first time, and I have my own answer to this. But what makes you good at this role, or particularly adept at sort of helping others to where they want to be and go?
I think it comes down to a personal mission I've lived by, which is to make life better for everyone else. And so if I'm working to make life better for someone else, I'm going to do that with dignity and respect in mind.
Yes.
And so everything that I do, my hope is that people leave feeling better about our interaction. I have some pretty challenging conversations sometimes.
That you do.
And, it's not always related to performance. Sometimes it's truly, people are just so passionate and they want something, and they don't understand why they can't have a particular thing, or why budgets don't allow for things, or why another person's vision is the one that was selected. And helping have those conversations, I just want people to feel like I truly value them, because I do. And I often tell the team at TMA, you are both valued and valuable. And so I work to just ensure that people feel that way. And I think that distinguishes me from some other professionals, because I think that at times we get so caught up in what we want that we forget to really pay attention to what other people need. And so I've just always centered the needs of others.
It's really a busy and probably a little bit of an internally tumultuous time for the Art Museum, because you're in the midst of this reinstallation. So there's
project.
Galleries that are closed, there's changes of schedules, exhibits are opening. I mean, it's probably insane over there right now.
It is.
So how is that making your job particularly interesting or difficult right now?
Yes, so it is a chaotic time in some ways and the most exhilarating time in others. Yeah, and so we're all living in construction right now, and then trying to also help visitors navigate what spaces are still open. We're still welcoming new exhibitions, clearly, and we'll continue to do that. Our education space is still really vibrant. Staff, they get anxious sometimes, and people don't know what's 100%. In the future for the museum. I can tell you, because I get the behind the scenes look, that it's going to be something incredible and worth looking forward to in 2027. But that's because I get to put on the hard hat and go up there in the space and see it. And I'm talking often, I host our podcast. So I'm talking to the other folks. Sorry, that makes a lot of sense.
How dare you?
I know.
Especially ones that are higher rated.
That's right. Especially somebody who's articulate and lovely. I can't believe you actually even had you on the show. It's like a Trojan horse.
We had to.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, both personally and
Do you want to have a personal conversation with Matt right now and about maybe guide him a little bit?
Yeah.
We're talking with Jennifer McCary, the 2026 Milestones Award honoree for the art category. The topic today for our Wellness Wednesday edition was on resilience. I'm curious, kind of your thoughts on how you build resilience amongst employees, and some of the things you guys might be doing at the Art Museum to help your team sort of build resilience.
Yeah, you become friends with Matt.
That's
Bring
right.
him to the
Nothing brings crisis in your life like being a friend of Matt Killam. Yeah.
Seriously, resilience is something that's a necessary tool set. And we try to teach that skill. We actually have hosted people on campus to talk about resilience and how to become more resilient, especially through the reinstallation. So it's important for people to understand how to bounce back, how to be able to navigate change, and know that it's also so much more than that. And so thinking about wellness, we think about people's mental health and try to do things periodically to make sure that people are just well in their work and their well-doing as well. And so I said well a lot in that.
That's okay, we weren't listening. I will tell you too, one of the challenges of my role is, and I bet similar to yours, people either they're in charge of collections or they have their own, thiefdom has a negative connotation, I don't mean it that way, but they're passionate about specific things. And not all things can be treated equally at all times. So having people feel seen and understanding that's just not their trip to the plate, how do you walk through that and make people feel heard and let them know that, you can't give everybody everything.
We can't. It's not possible.
That's right.
It's not possible. Oftentimes, it's honestly just telling people your time will come.
Yes.
And I think that people understand that. And we try to explain that there's a process for everything. There's a process for art acquisitions. There's a process for program selections. There's a process for hiring and internal promotion. And so as people are perhaps getting that no, just helping them understand that the yes will come eventually and that there's something else that we may need to do in order to get there, but that we will get there with the right coaching and the continued dedication and the resilience. All of those things are so important, and people get that when you have the conversation.
Let's turn now to the YWCA Milestones luncheon, which is tomorrow. Tell us a little bit about how you were notified of your award, who called you, and what your response was.
Yeah, I was
and why you're better than the other award winners.
All the award winners are incredible people, and each category is so well deserved. I was actually leaving the Shine event where I was a panelist that night. Had come off the stage, got in my car, and I got a text message from Lisa McDuffie that said, hey, can you give me a call about the milestones? And legit, what ran through my head is, oh, she wants me to volunteer for the event. Sure.
Yeah.
So I messaged her back like, sure, when do you want to talk? Is tonight okay? I'm in the car. She's like, yes, call me now. And so we talked and she said, hey, guess what? You are the arts recipient. And I was like, Lisa, do you know, you're talking to Jennifer McCary.
Do you have
Do you have the right Jennifer?
Yeah.
So it was an
And
incredible.
it turns out she did.
And she,
Then she felt bad, so she just let you have it.
Right, yeah. So then now there's an 8th chair up there. Yeah. Yours is at midnight.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But
So what are you most looking forward to about the day tomorrow? I'm assuming you're going to have family there. It's such a huge event. There's so many people in the room. What are you excited or nervous about?
I am actually a major introvert, so I'm kind of nervous about the entire experience, but super excited to see a lot of folks who I love and care about, families coming in, of course, but there are so many people I care deeply about in this city. I have a lot of connections, and so many people have reached out just to say that they're going to be in the room, and so it means a lot to me, and I'm excited to celebrate the other recipients as well.
Are the Kelsey brothers coming?
No.
Tell us a little bit about why the mission of the Y is important to you, or how you feel because it's from the YWCA receiving this award.
Yes, that's a great question, and it's something I actually plan to address. The YWCA has always been an organization committed to both women and justice. Both things are deeply rooted in the work that I do. And so throughout my career, I've had a strong commitment to diversity, equity, inclusion, belonging. I have been able to practice those things in work settings. I've been able to transform cultures, and the YWCA is known for the exact same thing. And so it makes a lot of sense to me to be connected with them, and now I'm honored to be connected with them in this way.
What are some things that you and the family like to do when you're not working, when you're not collecting awards? What is like some downtime that you guys like to do together?
My husband and I love simple date nights, dinner, movies, putt-putt. We love to compete against each other, bowling, things of that nature. And
wins?
He beats me all the time.
In the competitions. You're a black belt.
That's right.
But we do family night with our daughters on Fridays. That's a great wind down.
Yeah.
We have a local favorite that we eat at and then go and have treats at on Fridays. And so, yeah, we just love our family time together in the evenings. We try to incorporate game boards at dinner time. So we sit down, we eat together, but then we rotate who picks what game we play. So
that's fun.
It's just a great downtime.
What's your favorite game?
I don't actually have a favorite game, but they've been beating me a lot in one, I think it's called like Tapple. You tap, there's a card, a category, and you have to quickly say something that starts with the category and hit the letter. And
yes, we have that.
Yes.
It's tough.
I always run out of time at the later letter, so.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
Very fun.
All right, Dr. Jennifer McCary, a 2026 Milestone Award honoree, a well-deserved honor. So there's no better way to celebrate than to put you on the hot seat. It's now time for Gretchen's Wacky Quiz. I'm going to ask you 4 rapid-fire questions. Gretchen's going to ask you for your favorite thing in or about Toledo, and then you and Matt are going to work together to describe Toledo in exactly 9 words. All right. Question number 1. If you had to teach a class in one thing, what would you teach?
Art.
Name a person who inspires you.
Killam is how you pronounce that.
My parents.
If you could choose any person from history to be your imaginary friend,
oh boy,
who would
this
it be?
is a good one.
Oh goodness. There's so many names running through my head. Pick one. I'm going to say Elizabeth Catlett.
All right.
Artist.
We know.
I have no idea.
Me neither.
Yeah, okay. What is your best feature?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. The people I surround myself by.
Very good. What's your number 1 most favorite thing, or what you consider to be the best thing about the city of Toledo?
The Toledo Museum of Art, rated number 1 by the USA Today 2 years in a row.
2 years in a row.
There you go.
All right, I heard you say Metro Parks. All right, 9 words. Let's do it together.
All right.
TMA, we're going to give you that one right off the rip. So that's really one of the best things to describe the region. What else? 9 words.
I'm thinking, when Kevin set that up, I was thinking like something about Toledo.
Yeah,
as a
phrase.
We'll take
it could be a phrase.
Yeah, I'm thinking Toledo, let's see, a place filled with determined people and great pride.
Done.
You just made that up.
Hey.
Goodness gracious. You
They
didn't
don't
need
give those
Matt's help.
That's right. You don't give those milestones away to just anybody.
Oh my goodness, Dr. Jennifer McCary, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Somebody,
Thank you.
somebody
So nice to see you.
comes out to tomorrow's event. What's something that you hope they walk away with from tomorrow's Milestone Awards?
Being inspired. It's a really inspirational event. I've attended year after year, and I'm always just thrilled for the people on the stage, the YWCA as a whole, and the community.
Awesome. Tomorrow, Milestone Awards. It's probably sold out, so it might be a little late for you to join, but you can learn more about the organization and the awards at ywcanwo.org. We are so proud to be able to celebrate the incredible women being honored this year. Dr. Jennifer McCary, thank you so much for joining us. When we come back, we will wrap up this Wellness Wednesday edition of the 419.
You laughed with us. You learned with us.
Hi, neighbor.
We made sure your childhood was special. Memories that could only be provided by PBS. For generations, we've given you programs that made a difference. Programs that entertain, inform, and inspired. And today is no different. This is WGTE Public Media in Toledo. It's where you belong.
Introducing The Local Thread, a community news series uniting voices and storytellers from across the region. In partnership with La Prensa, the Toledo Free Press, the Sojourner's Truth, Toledo Public Schools, and Rethinking Jails and Justice. The Local Thread brings you stories and conversations that connect our community. Hear it weeknights at 7 on FM 91 with early access on podcast platforms each morning. The Local Thread, only on WGTE.
Welcome back into the 419. Stand by.
Stand by.
It's a Wellness Wednesday edition, another great episode. Fantastic having our friends from WorkSpring on. And Dr. Jennifer McCary. It was lovely.
We had a conversation after the interview with her and found out about 19 additional facts that we didn't get to, so we'll definitely have to have her on. One of the most interesting, she's also an artist and a stone sculpturist. Is that a word? But anyway,
Sculptor.
You're right.
You didn't need to add the ist. Sculpturist.
Yeah.
What a cultured person.
What? I'm so cultured.
Yeah.
I go sculpturisting on a regular basis.
Very, very cool lady. Excited
Very
that
cool.
she's going to get the award tomorrow.
Yeah, it's every year when that list comes out, like it's maybe one of the least surprising lists, our community. It's like, here's 8 incredible women. You're like, yeah, it is.
That's right. Nailed it again.
Yeah. So excited, certainly awesome to have them on. And inevitably, like we do with so many of our guests, we have them on, we spend 16 minutes with them, and it's like, I could have used 16 more or 32 more. And so certainly
Which they're
appreciate.
not thinking.
No.
But
No
it's
one,
only us that are thinking that about them.
Yeah, no one has said, you know what I need?
More time with you, Chowderheads.
More time with
Right.
the 419.
Right.
But awesome for us to be able to partner with
Yes.
this incredible organization, this great award. And I just think one of the other, for me, sort of, other parts of doing this program that's so exciting is getting to be a part of some of these incredible institutions in our community, such as the YWCA Milestone Awards. So
People can really meet some really interesting people by listening to our show.
they can. That's what people keep telling
And
me.
you're also missing out on your
My witty repartee.
I don't speak Spanish.
What's the phrase of the day, Gretchen?
Cash on the barrelhead.
Cash on the barrelhead.
Say it like Trump would say it, though.
Yeah,
Do your Trump impression.
I can't. Nope. This is PBS.
Don't do it. Don't do
How
it.
much funding can they take?
If you missed any part of the show, 7 a.m. on YouTube, 3 p.m. on FM 91, and 6 p.m. on WGTE Connects channel 30.4. Of course, online 24/7, WGTE.org/the419. If you want to be on the show, email us 419@WGTE.org. Thank you to our guests, and thank you for joining us. It's the 419, powered by WGTE and presented by Witro Wealth Management.
The 419, powered by WGTE, is made possible in part by supporters like you. Thank you.